involved over there. So Pat's not aware, but a number of us, representing many of us, nominated her for a district award. And in District 196, there's an award called the Christopher Randall Travel Award. And I will tell you, she didn't win it. I'm sorry to disappoint you. But I would like to tell you this, that there are a number of us here who would like to share a part of our nomination forms with her and then give them to her. And there are some folks who couldn't make it tonight, and I have their forms as well, and we're going to share those with you. We're going to start with Leah, I think.
We're going to all go together.
Oh, everybody together? Oh, that's a great idea. So Leah, Michael, Shelley.
How could they not have given?
Did Joe get here yet? Gina. Joe is here. Fantastic. Gina. Nicole, are you here?
Bring the baby.
Did I? John Roston couldn't be here tonight. Is Cheryl Gelming here somewhere? She was involved in this. How about John Curry? I know our former superintendent, John Curry, could not make it, but he also was involved in this process.
You still didn't give me the award?
I'll go first, so then it's over. When I started teaching, I met Pat a decade ago, 10 years ago. I was placed in a 6th grade house. Unfortunately, Pat was not the social studies teacher in that house I was placed. Just kidding, Jeff. I was looking at him as I said it, so I was fine. I owe the fact that I'm still a teacher to Jeff telling me to give it one more year, so that's So, I wrote a lot of things on here. One funny story I want to share is I like to sing a lot in class. I teach English learners and welcome them with a song and things like that, and usually it's received with a, please stop. But one day it was received with a, please stop. But have you heard Ms.Bauer sing? She has the voice of an angel. So, always remember that. Yeah. But I kind of was looking at a theme of what I wrote about Pat for this award, and what I found was Pat's classroom is a place where all students felt like they belonged. There was a warmth, there was an openness there. Students who are new to the country, pretty much the scariest place you can go is a place where you're expected to know something about American history and background knowledge about the United States. And Pat's classroom was a place that they felt welcome and they felt that they belonged. And I realized today, thinking about that, that's kind of why all of us are here too, is that Pat makes us feel that way. She accepts us just as we are. She makes us feel like we belong somewhere. She takes us in no matter how weird, I mean, just look at the stage. And so the same way that I wrote about how she had made my students feel, I realized kind of after processing, that's how Pat has made me feel over the years. So thanks, Pat. We're going to really miss that in the classroom.
Blackhawk when it opened 22 years ago, and had the privilege of teaching in several different layers and houses, and of course 6th grade most of that time. So I'm just going to read for you a couple things that I wrote on the nomination. Pat is a walking, talking, singing history lesson. She often dresses in authentic costumes and has many artifacts that bring history to life in her classroom. She is a passionate teacher who models lifelong learning for her students and for her building and district colleagues. She has dedicated her life to sharing her love for history, for books, for music, and art with her colleagues and students. She is kind, compassionate. She always looks out for those around her. She is the very first to sign up to give her time, her talents, and of course her financial support and baking to all help students, staff, and our district. And she embodies the spirit of this award.
Hello, I'm Shelley Granboy, and I met Pat about 9 years ago when I started taking history lessons from her. I started teaching history at Blackhawk and now language arts. I have all kinds of things on here, from the costumes that she wears to the costumes she collected and brings in along with her artifacts, and the kids actually reenact all kinds of things. She and Dave have all kinds of history lessons going around in schools, in our school, and at Fort Snelling, at the Minnesota History Center, everywhere. She belongs to all kinds of groups. She fed our entire staff every Friday morning all year for years. And Mary Beth, you're taking that over, right? I have all kinds of things on here that other people have already touched on, but there's two things that I've been telling Pat. Well, one's for Dave. Have you cleaned out your basement? Because I'm retiring too.
We'll make room. We'll make room.
Okay. And the second thing is, I used to always say that if I died, I wanted to be reincarnated as one of my own dogs because they had such a good life. But I decided that there's a better life, and that's to be reincarnated as one of Pat's grandbabies.
Hello, my name is Michael McKay. I've taught at Blackhawk for 19 years. Shared a lot of great time with Pat. There's not a whole lot to add to the litany of experiences that people have shared about Pat Bauer and her amazing experiences. But one small thing that I put on my nomination form for the award that she almost got, I heard it was really close. Speaks to Pat's desire for inclusion in the classroom, and something that's gone back her all of 38 years of her teaching. But Anna Kimmel, Betsy Ross, the blanket, the whole classroom, it didn't matter how able or gifted a student was, they found a place in Pat's classroom and they found a way to be included. We love it.
Christensen, formerly Frost, and I worked with Pat for about 6 years at Blackhawk, and I nominated her because she's just such an inspirational teacher. I looked up to her. She was a mentor to me, almost like a mom. I would come into work every day, and she was always there, and she was always helping students. I mean, she's just been a wonderful person to work with, and yeah, I just looked up to her so much. I remember telling my family, "Oh, I work with this woman, and she sews her own, her own wedding dress. She makes bread, she's, churning butter at school. It's amazing." Thanks for that, for all of that, and for helping all those students all those years.
I'm Nick. I'm one of the happy clergymen. And I'm going to let the music say what I want to say for Pat, because she and I have been doing that for a long time. And there's some other words here, but I'd rather be in this moment and just say, we love you. I'm Joe Felice, and I don't know if you wanted me here tonight.
You younger ones might want to plug your ears.
They said, "Do you have something to say about Pat?" And I said, "Pat who?" And they said, "Pat Bauer."
He's married to Pat.
I like to think, I don't think he's here tonight, but Terry Tofty, because he's the one who hired Pat and hired me and hired so many quality people in the beginning of Blackhawk. and brought us all together, and everyone had a lot of strong personalities, and to watch him deal with all the conflict that was going on between us was joy in and of itself. And in the middle of it was Pat, and she brought us all together. And what I really liked about Pat, I have these things to say, but I might not get to them, but I want to say that what turned me on most about Pat is one of the first parties she had at her house when Blackhawk opened. Tim Gold and I were walking down the hallway, then she had her den. Sorry, Pat, I'm going to tell the story. Oh, no! And in the den on the wall were a couple pictures of her topless. Because, you know, she's the ultimate hippie, so we got about 10 guys in the room that said, hey, check this out. This is what one of our young, at that time, in the 60s, so that was 20, she was 38 years old. I said, this is one of our young teachers, man. She's like topless in public all the time. And I got these 10 guys in there, and they said, this is going to be the best school we ever tried, ever. This is it. So forget about the food, forget about the music, forget about history, forget about teaching, man. Maybe by the end of the night, she'll get back to that old feeling. So, yeah, look at these young kids like, oh my God, no, that's the truth. I thought she was teaching about Lewis and Clark.
They were abstract.
I'll tell you abstract right here. So, now, Pat's a great person, and we've all shared a few things about her. And Nick Cobbett asked me to share, to answer these questions about the Randall Award. And would you write a few things? I said, yeah, but I mean, I could tell you the way I feel, which is the way we all feel about her. But I'm going to actually read you the questions that we had to answer, and then what I responded. So the first question is why this person should be awarded the Christopher Randall Award. And I wrote that Pat is one of the most child-centered teachers we all have had the pleasure to know. I can't think of one student, teacher, or parent that doesn't think the world of Pat. The second question was, give us an example of how the nominee has fostered mutual respect between students and staff. And I wrote, does not apply. I wrote, Pat is a champion for every student. She believes that each student deserves a loving home and a caring school environment. In addition, Pat has always been a go-to person for staff. She listens and shows genuine empathy to teachers in a way that comforts them and helps them better understand teaching and life in a broader way. Pat models that being a teacher is a great and rewarding career. Remember, I'm a drummer, I don't know how to write, so the third question, example of how the nominee shows sensitivity, humor, kindness, and love in working with people. And then I wrote, see pictures and den.
So Nick, why did you ask this joker to do it?
The best part is I just walked in, and as soon as I'm done, I'm leaving. So that's my 2 bits right there. Pat approaches each student where they are cognitively and emotionally. She shares love and joy throughout her day. Pat feels that music can heal the soul, so she shares her singing and guitar playing with her students as often as possible. And the last one was give an example which illustrates how this staff member learned from a student. Pat has so much to share with the school community, but her greatest gift has always been to express an interest in what each student has to offer to the class, the school, community, and the world at large. Pat was accepting of all students long before the terms equity and diversity were ever used. Well, yeah, I know that. And most importantly, Pat has always highlighted the wonderful qualities that each student brings to the classroom. And from my opinion, away from the script, it's been a privilege and pleasure knowing and working with Pat, and I'm proud to be associated with her and feel honored to call her my friend.
I think now would be a perfectly appropriate time to have one of Pat's former students come up. And this is Barbara Wallen, and she's asked if she